Hello, Top Funders. Today we're joined by Adam from IntelliSafe, and Adam is going to talk to us about his Safespace Shield, which is live on Kickstarter. And all the links will be in the video description below. Let's go. Let's get on with the show. Adam, look, I really want to go straight into looking at your excellent product, which is really like the tagline for Talkfunding is Global Sustainable Peace Now. And like this really rhymes so well with Global Sustainable Peace Now, because you really are developing a product, a Safespace Shield, which you want for the whole of humanity, basically. And thank you very much. And I'm sure the Talk Funders will be really impressed by this product that you're bringing to market via Kickstarter at the moment. Just to introduce the product, I'll just read there's just a title and subtitle of the Kickstarter page. It's Space Safe Sealed, a sealed, fog-resistant, all-day comfortable, full-face shield to protect frontline workers, teachers, medical professional, and kids. And already, gives a nod to the ethos of the company. Already we're seeing in the video your excellent Kickstarter videos, and all the links will be in the video description below. We're already seeing where you're going to, like you really are dealing with kids standing in garbage piles in developing countries, etc. So really over to you, Adam, just to really give us a broad introduction to your product, please.
Yeah, 100%, Alan. It's great. We do have a lot of synergies in the way we look at these things. And our company's unique. We really want to help people. That was the genesis of the product. It was born out of the beginning of COVID and has evolved along with COVID. One of the things that really stood out to us as we were developing the product, which is exactly what you described, a full face, sealed, anti-fog face shield that allows people to communicate with one another. And that was really the genesis of the project. We noticed that, once the masks came and then you saw the eye shields come, because we found out that you could transmit through the eyes as well, that really doctors and the people they were taking care of, teachers and students, were having a very difficult time communicating with one another. Why? Because we communicate with our faces, right? With our hands, emotion. So in addition to the fact that it would muffle, your language. So the product was, that was the genesis of it. And as we started pulling it together and getting ready to go to market, I was watching a Bill Gates interview, and Bill was on CNN, and he was saying, quite honestly, I think that it was going to be the end of 2023 before we're not really in COVID anymore. And Anderson Cooper was, raising his eyebrow, saying, well, that's not consistent with what I'm seeing. And Bill reminded him that we live in a global society, we live in a global economy. And when you have developing countries that literally have no access to the vaccines, you have to start thinking about how long it's going to take for them to get the vaccines. And more importantly, from my perspective, how do you bridge between here and there? How do we get to the point that frontline workers are protected against transmission? How do we cut transmission? How do we make sure that kids are back in school between now and the time that we start to have global immunity or herd immunity? So that was really the genesis of the project, and one that we're very excited to be bringing to market. As you can see, we're already being supported at a pretty significant level, even though you haven't published yet. I imagine once you do, we'll see the numbers go up very significantly.
Oh, fantastic. And thank you so much for that. And I really, give nod to the Kickstarter video page, which I really encourage people to look at. I mean, just incidentally, I have a number, because of the interplay between the UK and India. I have lots of Indian friends. And there was they were playing ping pong, shall we say. I saying that in a lighthearted, but in a very serious way with COVID-19, because the Kent variant is what was called went to India, and then it wreaked havoc in India. So very serious and really worthy cause. So thank you very much for your team for bringing this product to market. I just want to scroll down and encourage the Talk Funders and the Kickstarters to scroll down and begin to look, and we'll do a deep dive interview in a moment where Adam will be really talking about the key features and how it's constituted. But just to give a broad brushstroke in this main interview, there's lovely, really clear images here, and I just love this line here: is we've created a face shield that balances extreme performance, astonishing comfort, and complete visibility. Can you say a little bit more about that? Because I mean, I've been wearing a mask for 18 months whenever I'm out and about, but for people who are wearing it, who you're targeted to, those must be the key sort of features that they're looking for in a mask.
100%. It is different. I will also note that it's interesting that there's a language difference. It's semantics, but it's not quite semantics. And I think your listeners will find this very interesting, your watchers. You call them Talkfunders, right? Your
yes.
Talkfunders. You have a crew. Will find this very interesting, which is in the United States, you are not allowed to advertise masks on Facebook, which is really surprising because, as we've learned, you can do just about anything on Facebook. However, you can do a shield. You can advertise a shield. So a big part of the naming process of the product alone is the fact that it is a shield and not a mask. It does shield the entirety of the face. So this is incredibly important when protecting against COVID. Number one, we do know from studies that the eyes are the second most common transmission point. So this obviously prevents you from touching something that has virus and then touching your eyes. And that was a key component of this. The second element is that it is 100% transparent and anti-fog. So we really do want to focus people on the fact that you can communicate with one another, that you can see their mouth as they move, you can see their eyes, you can see their facial expressions. That's really important. The third one, though, was one that we really spent a lot of time, money, R&D on, which is the human factors element. Anyone who's worn a mask for a period of time knows that it does a couple things to you. One is it affects your breathing, right? So breathe a little heavier. The second is that you have pressure points with the mask that tend to cause headaches, oftentimes right behind the ear, where the string is kind of attaching and keeping it tight so that it's effective or somewhat effective. So we really sought to attack those deficiencies that we saw in other products on the marketplace by creating something that's incredibly comfortable. You can wear it all day. And we used a CPAP style strap that you can see in the back there, and it makes it incredibly comfortable to wear. The idea being that we wanted to reach our goal. There's no standard out there, but the goal was that a medical professional could wear this for an 8 or 12 hour shift, occasionally taking it off for a break, but generally speaking, could wear it all day without being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I have actually a good friend who's trained to be a GP, a general practitioner, and I can really see uses for him because with a GP, it's local community, local doctors. I don't know if you have GPs or what they're called in the States, but he's front facing. He's actually meeting patients maybe 4 an hour over 8 hours. There's 30 plus 40 people he'll be interacting with every day, and that's just let alone his own staff. So I can really see an excellent use for this shield. Just moving down, and we will look at this in more detail in the deep dive interview, which is coming up next. There's the 5 key components for this. Adam, was that correct?
Yes, it's a fairly intricate design, but it's also fairly simple from the point of view that we don't have 20 different pieces. And manufacturing, I mean, this is very important. So, look, I want your listeners need to understand this is not your everyday Kickstarter. Most Kickstarters, I'm looking, and I've run a top 1% Kickstarter in the past, so I do have history here. But you're looking for people to come there and to buy, or to donate, or whatever the action forcing event here is. We're really doing something a little bit different here. We need scale, And we have invited your listeners, other people who are in Kickstarter, not only to pledge and donate their mask to a person in a developing country, but this is really all about using your connections. Pick up the phone or call or go on LinkedIn and find, who do you know at a major humanitarian entity? Who do you know with a Gates Foundation, for example, who can order 1,000 or 10,000 of these units and have us deliver them to third world countries. And that's what I'm really speaking about here, is what you're seeing with the details is that this can be manufactured at scale. The only thing standing between us and doing so is money. We don't have the money to do it right now. So that's why we launched our Kickstarter. As you can see, once you start stamping out those shields, it is an intricate design, but those will stamp out en masse. The idea is that there are millions of these shields running around the planet and protecting people. It has a frame that we show as number 3 and number 5 on that screen, and that frame is what attaches to the seal that then locks it into place. And then, of course, you have your N95 filter. And we call that the filter carrier. So that's what will be replaceable, just like your normal mask. Once every couple of weeks, if you're wearing an N95, you're going to want to swap it out. Same with ours. We're using N95 material that's bought off the shelf.
And I think that gives a nod to the, in one sense, it's a very simple. For me, I like A, B, C, D, E, Adam. So like, I just love this because like even Alan could like assemble this and get it up and working fairly quickly. You know, I mean, it's just like following the kit and following the instructions. I mean, I think that's wonderful. And again, we can look at it, talking a bit more detail about the different elements in the deep dive, which is coming up. And I just love this compare and contrast. I mean, you are really, you know, top of the league here in terms of the other masks, which are quite abundant at this stage of the game. Maybe just a quick sort of compare and contrast, Adam.
Yeah, happy to. Again, the genesis of the product was that was communication, frankly. Cloth masks, other N95 masks, they cover your mouth, they cover your nose. That's great. So do ours. To protect against transmission. We like to think we do it better because the seal is tight. So, you know, when you're wearing a normal mask, in theory, virus can find its way through the cracks, and you can still be infected. The full face shield protects against that. I mentioned earlier the strap pressure points. So we disperse the pressure points, and in fact, there are none, around the head. And we think that creates the ability to wear for a longer period of times, especially frontline workers and medical professionals who don't have the luxury of working from home like you and I are and just chatting on Zoom. You know, we did look at some of the respirators and the full air purifying products that are out there. Those are running you about $1,200, $1,500 US. And just not cost effective and not realistic to be a very significant bridge against transmission on a global basis. Here in the States, my wife works, she's at a major hospital, and on a daily basis, she goes to work and she wears a paper cloth mask, and then she wears one of these shields in the middle here on top of it. So one of the things we wanted to do was avoid having multiple contraptions on your face, right? You got to move them around. You got to adjust them. There's these different elements going on. So we just put it all into one shot. And yeah, I think that's right. I think it's very important. The last point I would point out is that I see you wear glasses. I wear glasses. There is a compatibility with glasses that you can add on after the Kickstarter has been completed. And it's a very nice feature to be able to wear your glasses while also wearing a mask that doesn't fog up.
Oh, excellent. I mean, yeah, I mean, I just love your compare and contrast, and thank you for explaining it so well. I mean, randomly we get people in Belfast walking around just with a face shield on, and you sort of go, I don't think that's going to work, you know. So it's like,
not only in Belfast, you're going to see that here in the States too.
Well, just moving on down the Kickstarter page, we're just looking at you were just mentioning it, you know, in that last segment there about the rewards. Maybe we can just really talk about some of the rewards that you have here, Adam, please.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And in fact, I'd love to scroll down a little bit on the side of the actual reward. So we've done something that I don't believe anyone has ever done with Kickstarter, or at least I haven't seen it. And we did a lot of research on this. We are, because this is really a donation driven event, you can see if you want to buy one for yourself, you're more than welcome to. It's a $249 retail here. It's a reward. You're saving $51 off of our projected retail price. However, if you're willing to donate your shield, and we have partnered with a major nonprofit here in the United States where your shield will go, and they'll make sure it reaches somebody in need in a developing country, we knock the $50 off. So we're not making any money on either one. This is effectively a break-even campaign to get manufacturing up and running. And then it expands out from there. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that a couple people have already done this now, which is, we love our Adopt a School pledge, where there's 30 shields that are sent to a school. You'll see we have 3 backers on that, even though it's $6,000 US. You know, it's really important. We think it's really important that kids be in school. And later on the page, I do a CEO message. I really focus on what I think is the massive human toll this has taken on our kids. We won't know for many years, the studies will be done, et cetera, but just having kids and being somebody who cares deeply about, you know, bringing along the next generation, teaching the next generation, you know, we need them to be in school. They need to be in school. Their teachers deserve to be protected, and they belong in school as well. So, you know, I think equipping schools is a great way to give back. If you'll go down a little bit more, we also have the Big Give, which is, and one backer has done this. This is incredible. It's almost an $8,000 give here, where they're donating 40 Safespace shields that, again, will be, after manufacturing, will be sent to a major U.S. nonprofit that distributes medical supplies to developing countries throughout the world. And it's just a really neat way to give back. But again, encouraging the Talkfunding crowd to understand that, obviously, you know, it is fantastic if they want to pledge. We know a lot of people don't have $8,000. Really, I think the interest here is to take the link to this interview, send it on to somebody who's an executive at a major nonprofit, Doctors Without Borders, Red Cross. I mean, these are the kinds of organizations that can do the full $1.2 million in funding that we're looking for in order to produce and get these things onto frontline workers' faces, start protecting it against transmission on a global basis.
Just having a wee moment of free thinking, Adam, is that earlier on in the year, I interviewed a lovely Melissa from Thinking Huts, who are doing the world's first 3D printed school in Madagascar. And just whenever you were talking about Adopt a School, I just thought, oh my God, that would just, I mean, I'll introduce you to her. She's absolutely a very capable young woman, and it's a fantastic project that they're involved in. So maybe we'll talk about that after the interview. Sorry, I digress.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
but
that's fantastic.
It's great. I mean, this is what these, as you say, these conversations are about. So I had the idea of, I should really get contact, link you up with Thinking Huts, and that's what you're encouraging people to do in this interview, is to think of, if people have that sort of moment, let's share this link. Let's tell everybody about this wonderful shield. Fantastic.
Absolutely, 100%. Look, there's not one person who will listen to this who doesn't know somebody who's laying awake at night trying to figure out how to protect teachers in India. You mentioned India earlier. Teachers in the Philippines, right? Students in the Philippines. So, you know, look, the United States, Europe, very long way down the path to normalization, and most people are not thinking about masks. We're not here to sell. You know, my friends of mine are not buying masks for themselves and the teachers. You know, the kids are going to be vaccinated here soon. But, you know, going back to Bill Gates' interview, we live in a global economy. I mean, there are people who care deeply about what's going on around the world. And Delta hasn't even begun to wreak havoc in other countries that could use a lot of help. I have a friend who reached out to me after seeing the page, and he's close with with senior government officials in Peru who are having a really difficult time with this. And I said, get on the phone with them. They know people at the State Department and other places who, again, can pledge the money we need to manufacture 6,000 units and get them donated and get this product moving around the world. I see you found the facility package as well. This one's interesting. No one's backed this yet, but anybody who's an international business person and who has a facility, a lot of people are offshoring now and have facilities in places like India or Mexico. A great way to get the masks on your employees and help protect them and their families as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm learning all about YouTube, Adam. And there's this lovely Canadian guy who lives in Thailand, and he has a channel called Retired Working for You. And he does these pay it back moments because of what's happened, because how COVID has wreaked, crashed for example, the Thai economy, and they're still coping very much. They're still in the midst of, because they haven't got the vaccination rates. I mean, it's, that could be something that we could look at again for anybody else who's watching this, either on YouTube, or we'll link this through to LinkedIn. Anybody who has a facility, as you said, who's outsourced to other countries. So fantastic. I'll just move it on here. Just in terms of the main interview is you got three really key things in terms of products. You've got guaranteed delivery, you've got a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, and a 1-year warranty, which is really great nod to everybody. I mean, I'm going to do the deep dive in a minute. I think the quality of this product, I don't think you need to worry about any of those elements, by the sounds of it. Again, there's a lovely, in the Kickstarter page here, there's the proven anti-fog. And I would really recommend the Talkfunders Kickstarters to come down and look at this, because it must be one of your employees or one of your team anyway, who's walking around blowing as hard as he can on that shield, and it's just not steaming up. Maybe we can talk about that in the deep dive, but it was great. I just watched that and I went, well, there you go. I mean, that's, for me, that was validation enough. Again, in the Kickstarter page, just finishing off the main interview, there's the tech specs for all those people who really want to go deep, and we'll be covering that in the deep dive interview. As is the design journey. I really want to talk about the design journey of this product, and not only your own entrepreneurial journey, but also your teams, your very extensive and experienced teams journey of pulling this all together and really, again, setting the world's standard, a global standard, to what we're facing, and a really positive solution. So here's the team, which we'll look at in the backstory. And really a great testimonial from Roger, if you scroll down near the bottom. And also the mission statement. Maybe we'll just read through the mission statement just to finish off the main interview here. So I just love this. Our mission is designing and developing technologies that help humans. I mean, that's it. Okay. I love that. Our passion is protecting those who put their lives on the line to fight this pandemic, and improving communication between medical professionals and those they serve. Again, fantastic. And then our ultimate goal is to ensure that our kids and the teachers who better their lives every day can safely go to school. We work tirelessly to make never again more than just a slogan when it comes to our children's education and safety. Absolutely superb, Adam, and your team who've developed those mission statements there. And again, we'll look at this maybe in the backstory thing. There's a great, and I really do encourage people to go down and listen to Adam's own message from a CEO. I mean, there was some really great stuff in it, and really I don't want to embarrass you too much, Adam, but I really did love it. It was like, for me, the whole product, the video, and also your mission statement here was really what's the best of America. Because you really, you talk about having a collective heartfelt generosity of Americans. And that's what I've always, whenever I met Americans face to face, that's what always is. They're always very open, friendly, generous people. And this product really sums that up, about having that really the best of America and really wanting to help not only their own country, but to help the world. So we'll really thank you very much, Adam. And we'll finish off this main story now. And I'll say all the links, or main interview now, all the links for the Kickstarter campaign will be in the video description below. We're now going to move on to the deep dive interview, which is really going to look at the product, really specific deep dive to the product itself. Thank you so much for joining us on Talkfunding today, Adam, my friend. Thank you so much.